we'll get started. And any questions? Like I didn't get any questions in the chat. So those who joined little late, what I said is today is our last session. So I'm going to take up any questions that you have. Okay. So if you want me to talk about any specific topic, please put it in the chat. Okay. And we will take it up. Okay. Can you hear me? Are you able to type? Can you confirm if you can hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Can you confirm if you can hear me? Okay, Shubhangi. Thank you. And Shubhangi, I see your hand is up. So you have any questions for us? Thanks, Pankaj. Yes. Okay. Sure, Shubhangi. Thanks. So guys, yes, if you have any questions, okay, so please post it. Okay, I'll take it up. Otherwise, I'll continue to talk about class and objects, right? So yesterday we created a class. We created uh, all four members. We created class level variable, class level method. Then we created object level variable, object level methods, right? So today we'll talk about inheritance. Okay, we'll see how inheritance work. Okay, and with that we will end this session. I hope this session was meant to give you okay feel of what Python is all about, isn't it? Of course, there's limited thing that we can do in limited time. Okay, but you know, um, with uh, with almost like 10 hours of content where we did from basic to class and level, right? We wanted to show you the strength, the power of that Python programs has, right? And also to convince you that Python is the easiest of language right now in the market. Okay, Python is the easiest of language. Okay, and this is not limited to just software field or computer science field. Okay, the things that Python can do is far more than what you see in just computer science field. In every field, we have Python, right? There's a Python application. You can create automation. You can create, data science kind of work, machine learning, statistics kind of work. You can create a web framework based on Flask, right? Within a day, you'll have a amazing websites created using Flask or Django framework, right? You don't need weeks and days of programming. Within a day, you can create a website with login option, okay? And, like if you want to develop applications like Facebook and all, you can do it within maybe a week's time, okay? So it is possible to do those things with Python. Okay. And when I say Python, it's the different libraries, right? It is different libraries that it makes use of to give us the capability to perform those applications, right? So that's where Python works. Okay. Okay, so I will continue with what I had planned for today, which is to talk about inheritance, okay, and other concepts. So, what is inheritance? Right? Inheritance is a property where one class can take properties, can inherit properties from another class. Okay. So we will be using more than one classes at a time. So let me first show you what it means, and then we'll go back to our program. Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay. So let's say you have a class here. Okay. So you have a class here. Obviously, when we create a class, it will have its own members, like what we saw yesterday, right? It will have its own members, isn't it? Now, you want to create another class. Now, this class will also have some members. Okay. Now, if they have different members, then it's all right. If they have, let's say, a function or method ABC, CBA, BCA, it's all fine. Let's say here they have method like XYZ, YZX, ZXY. Okay, so they have different methods. Then, okay, then it's all right. But imagine a situation where this class needs to have all these three methods along with this. So this class needs to have this method, okay, which is already created in different class. Okay. Now, since this class already has these methods, then why to duplicate again here? That's the question. Okay, that's what, in programming, we try not to duplicate stuff. Duplication is against the basic principle of programming. Duplicating code, doing something again, rewriting is against the basic concept of programming. Okay. So now if class 1 already has some methods and class 2 needs same method, why do we need to copy and paste? So instead what we can do is we'll create this class as derived class of this. So we say this is derived class. Derived class of this is referred as base class. The class which will have methods, okay, is called base class. The class that needs methods of another class is called derived class. Okay, this is one concept. Second situation you can arrive, you can think of is that, let's say you have one class here and you have another class. Now, this class needs function like XYZ and ABC. Now, this fellow needs, this class needs XYZ and let's say EFG. Now, in this case, you have this method which is common. So again, why to put duplicate method? Instead, what we can do is we can create a third class here. We will call this as base class. We will remove XYZ from here. We'll say we don't need XYZ here. We don't need XYZ here. Instead, you put XYZ here. You put XYZ here, and then you say these two classes are derived. Okay, so these both are called derived classes. Both are called derived classes. Okay, both are called derived classes. This is, okay, this is base class, derived class. Okay, not only that, you can have different levels. Okay, you can have one more class here. Okay, let's say I have class which needs XYZ, which needs ABC, and then it has its own PQR, let's say. So in this case, I can make this class as derived class of this. Then what happens, since this is derived class, so for this class, this is base class. So same class is acting like both base class and derived class. This becomes derived class for this. So, so think of this like grandchildren and grandfather, and this is father. The father is also a son, and a father is also a father, right? So this is father class, grandfather class, and child class. Now this grandson or granddaughter can access the properties of father as well as grandfather. Okay, you can have, similarly you can have, any kind of combination. You can have a class here. Okay, this class can have derived class from here as well as from here. Okay, this is derived from here. You can have any kind of combination as long as logically and realistically it makes sense. Okay, so this is how we say base class and derived class, and we will see how inheritance is done in the class. Okay, so guys, still I'm saying that if you have any questions, please have it ready. Now let's go and do some practice. Okay, so I'm going to create first a base class. Okay, so let's say I call a base class called school. I'll have a base class school, and I'll have two classes, derived classes, one as student. Okay, one as student and other as, let's say, teacher. Okay, and common properties between teacher and student, will put it in the school class. Okay, and then teacher will have separate properties, and the student class will have again separate properties which is specific to children. Okay, all right. Confirm me if it is all good, then we can move ahead. Okay, so let me write the base class. So I'm going to call this as class school. Okay, and what are the properties school will have? So school will have, let's say, school name, right, which is common for both kids and the teacher, and for kids and teacher, there, let's say, name and age, right? They all will have name and all will have age. Okay, so I'm going to create a class school and we'll define here a init function. Init we did discuss yesterday. Why do we use init? What is the purpose of using init, guys? Tell me. Init is a special function that gets called automatically. That gets called automatically. Okay, so the moment you create an object, this function is called. So it gets called automatically at the time of creating the object. The time of creating the object, this is called automatically. Cool. So here school needs, say, school name, and age. Okay, so I'll define three variables which will save these values. S name equal to S name, self dot name. This is teacher or student name. Okay, so I'll just simply call name. S name is school name, and this name is to represent teacher or student name. So name and self dot age equal to age. Okay. So I'll just send a message here so that we know what is being done. I'm going to say initialization of school class is done. Perfect. Okay. We will write another class or method here. Say school info. Okay. And I'll say here print f I belong to school. Okay, before I will put my name. My name is and I am year old. I belong to school. This, right? Now let's put this values here. So self.s name is a school name. So it will come here. Self.name is name will come here. And self.age okay. So this is our parent class or base class. Okay. And we can test it here. So I'm going to say if name equal to mean. Okay. Now let's create an object of school. So I'm going to say school1 equal to school. And let's say I give school name as ABC International School, let's say. Okay. This is its name, then this is person's name. So I will give, let's say, Sachin, and age I'll say 12. Age can be number, so we'll just say numeric 12. Okay. So object of school1 is created. And if you want to run and see, you can say school1 dot school info p5. So see, my name is Sachin. I'm 12-year-old. I belong to school ABC International School. Perfect. Okay. So this is a class where we expect both, okay, teacher and student yes, this is object of school which will have both the values, isn't it? Okay. Now let's create another class. And this class, okay, teacher and student class we will have, and this will say extends school class. Okay. So I'm going to call first, say teacher class. Okay. So here I'll go and declare class teacher. Now, how do we indicate that teacher will extend the properties of main class? If your teacher information will be different than what we have there, then there's no need to create a link. Okay. But if you think that no, this class, we need to extend some property which originally, the school class has it, right? So like name and age is there. So why to create our own duplicate? No, we will leverage that value. We will leverage that value. So even student teacher name is saved in the first class, that is school class. Okay, great. So, see, okay, to for teacher to extend this, we simply say school. If you put school, then we know that this is the base class and this is the derived class. Okay. Now, what are the properties which are specific to teacher? Okay. So maybe let's say salary. Okay. Salary is specific to teacher. Now I can simply say def underscore underscore init. Okay. And we'll say here self dot salary equal to salary. Now salary we cannot put it in the school level because student will not have salary, right? So salary is specific to teacher class only. So that's why salary should belong to teacher class. But name and age is common for both. So we have taken it to school level. Now, when you create an object of teacher, when you create an object of teacher class, do you need only salary or you need entire information? You do need entire information. Right? So I need to add school name, age, all these things here. So salary is here, but how do we make sure that name, name and age is assigned to this variable or this object? So you have to call this instead of, copying and pasting here. Okay, instead of copying and pasting all these three here. Okay, the best way is, okay, we will call the init function of the school class. So I'm saying school, I'm calling you. Take these values and assign it to the object of teacher. Then to call school init. How do we call school init? I have to say school dot init. Okay. So since it's object level, so I have to add self. Then here you have name, name, and age. Same order. You have to pass the values in same order. That's when the parent class will get the values from here. So I'm going to say name, okay, name and age. So we have anyway in the same order. So I'll pass it in the same order. So when you are creating object of teacher, not only teacher gets created, but teacher also creates internally the object of school, right? Okay. Now let's say I write a function here. I write a function here called def teacher print. And I write something here, okay? I'm not worried, okay? So print some content here. Okay, we'll come back and we'll change this. Now in the main program, let's create the object of teacher. So I'm going to say teacher1 equal to teacher. Okay, now you tell me Will this throw any error when I try to create object of teacher? Yes, it will throw error, right? Because when you call or when you create an object of teacher, immediately init is called. Okay, so init needs 4 values. So if I don't pass any value to teacher, I will get 4 errors. Yes, it says missing 4 required positional argument missing. Okay, so here I will give in the same name, age, salary. So let me copy and paste here. Okay, now let's say instead of Sachin, we'll make it Dhoni. And age will say 42. 42 means approximately it is going to be a teacher only, right? And now, since we're calling a teacher, I have to create salary also. Salary, let's say, I say 59,000. Okay, now you call it absolutely no error. Okay, you now when I say teacher one dot, you see teacher print is coming because teacher print is part of teacher. Okay, and at the same time, teacher also has access to school info. So now when I call it, let me comment the school info thing so that this first part, Sachin part is not printed. Yeah. So now when you run it, see, my name is Dhoni. It did not say Sachin. Why? Because we are calling teacher, right? So it knows that it is teacher specific object, not school specific. Okay. So when you create an object of teacher, the variables of the parent class, which is school, is also available along with the properties that teacher has specific to itself. Right? So this is what we say inheritance. Now, teacher says, no, I don't want to inherit the properties from school. So if teacher doesn't want to inherit, then teacher has to have same function name. So if teacher also has same function name as parent, you can have two teacher also one function and as school also function with same name. In that case, only the down, which is the derived class, teacher's method will be called. So whenever there's a confusion, when you have more than one option, whenever there's a confusion, one that is nearest to you is called. One that is nearest to you is called. Okay. So what I'll do here, instead of saying teacher print, okay, I will say, here I will say add info. And here also I'm going to add info. Okay. Now when you're adding info, and we want to print all the 4 values, okay, the school name, age, and salary associated with teacher. So see, anyway, this function is printing all these values, right? So why not to use it? So before we print some content here, I'm going to say here school dot add info, right? And since it is object, you have to say self. Okay, so now this will be called, and you can add salary component here. My salary per month is, okay, self dot salary. Simple. Okay, self dot salary. Clear? Yes or no, guys? Please respond. So silent. So now when I call, there's nothing called teacher print, right? Okay, you have add info, and we don't have to print the school info now. And when you say add info, my name is Dhoni, I'm 42-year-old. This is coming from this part. And now my salary per month is 59 or whatever. This is coming from this part. Isn't it? Okay. Similarly, we can add another class. Okay. So I'm going to say class student, right? And to indicate that, we have to extend it is, okay. And same thing we'll do. We'll write a init here. Okay. So here we will not have salary. Instead, we'll say marks, average or something like that. Okay. Marks. Okay, we'll put ABJ. So you put marks here, and this is again calling init. Name, school name, age, okay, should be handled by parent class or the base class. We'll add info here. So info, I have scored my marks, average is self dot marks. Okay, I have not created object of student. So let me create a student object. Student1 equal to student, and I will pass this. But instead of salary, we have to say marks, right? So I'll say 78.90. Okay, ABC International. We have to change the name, isn't it? We'll say Virat. And age will say 12. Right? And now when I say student1 dot add info, you run it. So see, my name is Virat, I'm 12-year-old. This is coming from your parent class. and marks average is 78.9. Okay. You can also add them as a list. So I'm going to say objects equal to, let's say these are the objects that we have created, right? School, teacher, student. And since we have to call all of them, okay, so what I'll do, I'll say calling each object one by one. So for I in objects, so I will be first school one, then teacher one, then student one. So I can say here I dot add info. Okay, I can, instead of putting a comment, let me print it so that we know this is what is getting called. Looks good. And then you run it. See, calling each object one by one. First school add info is called, then teacher, and then student. All right, everyone. We also have concept of visibility. Okay, so so if you have done C++, Java concepts in OOPS, you know that there's a way you can make members public, private, and protected. You can make members public, private, and protected. In Python, also we have these three concepts, but private and public. These are the two concepts which are implemented. Protected members are not implemented. Protected members, okay, practically is not implemented. So we will not see now. We'll only see private members. Okay. Now, so what is difference between private members and public members? Private members and public members difference is that private members will be called only by the class which has created it. So if I add a public member here in school, only the members of school like add info can call it, but not anybody else. No other class can call it. Even derived class cannot call it. Even derived class cannot call it. So how do you define a private member? We add double underscore. So okay. So if I add double underscore, our existing program will go wrong. So I will not make any changes here. Instead, I'll create a new member to show you what I'm saying. So add a private member. To add a private number, you say dev underscore underscore double underscore. Okay. And I'll say display info, something like this. Okay. And I'm going to say print. This is the display info. This is the display info from school class. Right? So what did I tell you? I told you that derived classes will have access to all the members. Now what I have to tell you is they will have access to all the members except private members. Even derived class cannot have access to the private members. Okay, so okay, if here if I try to call, okay, if I try to call student1 dot, you see, okay, that underscore underscore display info is not there. Even if I forcefully try to add it and I try to run it, it says student object has no attribute display info. It is not able to access parents function, which is display info, because we made it private. Private members will not be accessible even by its derived classes. So student is a derived class. Even student will not have access to display info. Understand? Okay. So this is not going to work. Error because display is private. But its member can access. Add info can access. Let's say I add here self dot display info. And now when you call it, see, everybody is able to call. This is display info from school class. This is display info from school class, right? So the members of the class can call it, but not outside, not even derived classes. Nobody has access to the public member, private member. Okay. Now let me add. See, add info is public. But again, to demonstrate, let me add one more public class. Creating a sample public class. Now, public class can be called by any class. Okay, need not be derived class. Public members can be called by non-derived classes. Any class which has no relationship also can call. Which has no relationship only, no relationship also can call. Of course, those who have relationship can call, but those who do not have can also call. So I'm going to define here display public something, let's say. Okay, and I'm going to say print this is a public class display public from school class, right? So if I add one more class here, let's say I create a class my parent, let's say I create a class called parents, and parents, okay, has, let's say, def parent info print parents info. Okay, now here if I try to call school dot display public, and see, parent class is independent class. I have not linked it to the parent class, which is school. So okay, parents is not a derived class, as it has no connection. Still it can call. Still you can call. So I'll say here parent p1 equal to parents, does not take anything, p1 dot parent info. And when you run it, you see parents info, okay, and self. Okay, here this is where I made mistake. I should add self. This is the object level, right? So I have to add self. Now you see, okay, parents info is coming here, and the text from display public is also printed. So even though parents is not derived class of, is not derived class of another class or your school class, still it is able to access the public members of the class. So understand this. Public members can be accessed by any class. Okay, need not be derived class. Private members of a class cannot be accessed by any member, even if it is derived class. Protected, which concept wise exists but is not implemented, is where, okay, only your derived class can call it, non-derived class cannot even see it. Okay, that is using single underscore. Okay, double underscore is private, single underscore is protected, no underscore. Okay, what we haven't done, we have been doing add info. All these are your public members, isn't it? So with that, we have come to end of our day 10. Any questions? We call them as access modifiers, private and public. This is what we have done here. Okay, any question, guys? We have come to the end. We'll stop here. Okay, whatever we have done is good enough for us to perform basic Python operations. Now from here on, you have to get into the advanced level of Python. This is what we cover basic. You can build your own small applications, small games using this. Okay, so if there are no doubt, we'll end it here, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. If not, we'll end it here. How was it? Did you understand? Was it easy to understand? So yes, I see at least one message. Kanishk says yes. Okay, thanks, Kanishk. Vishal Roshni says yes. Awesome, guys, then. All the best. Okay, Pankaj. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I hope I was able to, okay, create interest in you to learn Python. It's up to you to learn and become a Python expert, right? So we'll stop here for today. Thank you, Pankaj. We'll stop here for today, and then we'll see you next week. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Okay, all the best. Take care. Bye. And we'll arrange to share these notes with you all. Okay. Thank you. Bye.